Welcome, everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, fellow deplorables. Welcome, fellow dregs of society. Welcome, all you rock dwellers. Once again, you're always welcome here at the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network. And joining me today, as she does 2 or 3 times a week, is the patriot from the battle-born state, the silver state of Nevada. That is Sharron Angle. And with that, Sharron, our next guest is with us. Once again, the honor of the introduction is all yours.
It is a great pleasure for me to introduce Andrew Herod, who is a Campus Watch Fellow, a freelance researcher, and a writer who holds a PhD from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy and a JD from George Washington University Law School. He is a fellow with the Lawfare Project. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show, Andrew.
Oh, it's always great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, we're so glad. You wrote an article. Noura Erakat recounts her anxiety over Israel's existence. Wow. I guess we have to go into first who Noura Erakat is and why would she even question the existence of Israel, let alone have anxiety over it?
Well, Noura Erakat is a professor recently at George Mason University, and now she's just transferring to Rutgers University. She's the niece of Saeb Erekat, who's a Palestinian Authority negotiator. So she's very prominent within the Palestinian community, and her anxieties about Israel's existence stem precisely from really a continuing rejectionism among the Palestinian community of the existence of a Jewish state of Israel, as she goes into detail in her recent book tour that she's held events at Busboys and Poets here in Washington, D.C., as well as the Middle East Institute. She's hawking her new book, Justice for Some, on the history of international law and the Palestinian struggle against Israel. And so she's really expressing strident anti-Israeli views, showing how many Palestinians still seek the destruction of Israel.
Well, it looks like it's all about selling books to me. Now, now I get it. She's pandering to her audience a bit, isn't she?
Oh, it's really strident. There's really no basis for peace if you look at a person like Noura Erakat and assume that her views are not just held by her, but across broad swaths of the Palestinian community. If you think that her uncle Saeb Erekat holds any such views, there's any such peace process with the Palestinian Authority and the wider Palestinian population that has groups like Hamas and as well jihadist terrorists is simply stillborn. It's going nowhere. She really expresses quite clearly that she views Israel as merely this colonialist implant equivalent to, say, white settlers in South Africa and the apartheid regime there in the past, or French colonial settlers in Algeria. And so therefore some great injustice that has to be undone.
Well, I like what you said. It's this hard left echo chamber. Don't they get it that most of us out here in the heartland really are very pro-Israel? We like Benjamin Netanyahu. We are very happy with our president recognizing Jerusalem as the capital. They really don't get it, do they?
Well, you ought to take a visit inside the Beltway here in the Washington, D.C. area to Planet Washington. As the article indicates, one of her most recent events that Erakat held was at this chain of cafes, Busboys and Poets here in Washington, D.C., founded by this Arab-American Andy Shalal, another hard-left person. And indeed, the events room where she held her book talk at Busboys and Poets was precisely named the Angela Davis Room, as Andy Shalal noted, named after this hardcore communist Israel hater, Angela Davis. And Erakat gushed about how she was among such friends in the community at Busboys and Poets. So it's a quite dramatic contrast from wider America. You need to come visit Washington, D.C. once in a while.
Maybe not.
Well, I get there once a year, and I'm startled by it. I guess It's amazing. It's almost like
Oh.
going to another country. The interesting part about this is that they've just uncovered some facts about the Palestinians, which is that they are descendants from the Philistines. Philistines, like we know from the Bible, are Goliath and his 5 brothers, and they had 5 cities. But the real truth of the matter is that these Philistines came from Europe, so they were Western European invaders. They really are kind of out of their element there, claiming that they have any roots in that area. But she is so thoroughly brainwashed with this. This idea that they belong there, that she says, that's why I went to law school. I wanted to sue Israeli officials. Wow, what an agenda.
Well, indeed, she talks about her law school training at the University of California, where she attained both her undergraduate and law degrees. And in the article notes, she talks about the law is not neutral and you have to use it for your purposes. And indeed, her grand ambition was to get a legal training so she could sue Israeli officials. And as you indicated, in the name of this Palestinian population, the name Palestine comes from the Romans. When they occupied the area in 135, they crushed the final Jewish revolt in the area, and as a sort of a snub to the Jews, they named the area Palestine precisely after these Philistines, whom later research has indicated probably have their origins among, say, Europe, the Greek Isles, I believe. So it was indeed intended as an insult to the Jews to name this territory Palestinians, and then later the population there, the various peoples there were Arabized and Islamicized in the 7th century Arab Islamic invasions of the region. So, not much indigenous nature there to this Arab population in the region. So you should watch out for her agenda whenever she talks about law. It's not a nonpartisan agenda.
Well, and I wonder how far she thinks she can get with an American law degree in an Israeli country suing Israeli officials. Do they even recognize our law degrees over there, or don't they have attorneys of their own?
Well, now this would be an important point. She's not seeking to sue in Israeli courts. This deals with this whole issue of internationalizing law. Suing Israel at the International Criminal Court, or trying to bring Israeli officials under suit as they've attempted here in American courts under international application of tort laws. So that would be the danger there, and to not to try to strip Israeli officials of their sovereign immunity. So that would be her agenda to push, to try to get Israelis in courts outside of Israel.
Wow. Well, that's not all that she wants to do with Israelis. This is so interesting. She says that she thinks that Arabs could help indigenize Israeli Jews into the Middle East and rehabilitate their relationships within a unitary Arab-Muslim majority. What does that mean?
Well, this is welcome to Planet Washington again. I mean, this is another one of her sort of a lunatic thesis. Again, this idea she has that Arabs and Palestinians are the truly indigenous people in the region. And she talks about Jews then being this foreign implant, and that they came to found Israel as just sort of a white European outpost, and they never want to have anything to do with the Middle East, and so they need to be re-indigenized by these Arabs. Now, it's really a grievous distortion of Zionism and Jews and the re-establishment of the Israeli state. Jews, of course, this is their homeland, and Jews come from, many different places. Ashkenazi Jews from Europe, Mizrahi Jews from the Middle East area, North Africa, and from many different diasporas, different cultures. It's wrong to say that they're just European. I mean, Israel's often talked about as a Western outpost in the sense that it's a free society. It embraces precisely these Judeo-Christian Western ideas and institutions of a free society. I'm not sure, though, that Jews would want to be re-indigenized into the Middle East by, say, becoming another Arab dictatorship or having more religious fanaticism or a genocide or sectarianism or something like that. I'm sure the Jews would gladly reject all of that if that's what it means to become Middle Eastern.
Well, some of her terms are just amazing. So that Jews could become more white, really, and pink washing and homo nationalism. I'm going to let Rick pick up this conversation because these are just amazing terms that she's come up with. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can watch our TV show on the AUN TV network in Northern California. We will continue this conversation with our guest, Andrew Herod, of the Lawfare Project, and his discussion of Noura Erakat, who recounts her anxiety over Israel's existence. We'll be right back with Rick Trader, that's him, and I'm Sharron Angle.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, we're very pleased you stay with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host today is Sharron Angle, and our guest is Andrew Herod, who's a Campus Watch Fellow, a freelance researcher, and a writer who owns a PhD from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at George Washington University. Andrew, thank you for holding through that break. We really appreciate your time.
Well, it's good.
This lady, Noura Erakat, she's written this book, and she had this meeting. I guess it's almost like book TV, and they're at the DC Busboys and Poets. She had a crowd of 100 people there. Andrew, could you tell us something about the people who were in the audience that day?
Well, befitting, as we previously discussed, the Angela Davis events room of this communist Israel hater at Busboys and Poets, their K Street location. They have several locations here in D.C. You had Code Pink founder Media Benjamin was there, and various other people from the whole sort of anti-Israel scene here in Washington, D.C., like James Kobe, who's been involved in, he was actually part of the organization that won the Nobel Prize for the international ban of landmines. But here in D.C., he's a doctor and orthopedist who's been very involved in promoting boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel through the Episcopal Church, the Episcopal Diocese here in town. So it was very much a home turf for Nora Ericott.
Yeah, well, she made some very interesting comments that, at this meeting. She is quoted as saying, "There was just a red target on my head from a missile that followed me everywhere as I was running through Gaza."
Yes, she described her nightmares that she had. She said, yes, right. This work gave me nightmares. And so she discussed how she would dream about she's running through Gaza and there's this red laser target on her head as a missile is just following her through the streets, that apparently the Israelis want to assassinate her or something she's thinking about, and they have a missile that's just going to follow her from street to street and curve to curve. That's precision targeting for you, I guess. Of course, she never really mentioned any anxieties of people that in Israel might have from all of the rocket barrages being fired off by Hamas or terrorists coming out of terror tunnels from the Gaza Strip. So it's a rather one-sided anxiety there.
Right. Well, you know what scares me, Andrew? This woman, we hear what's going on college campuses. We hear about the radical ideas that are being pumped into kids' heads. Scary part is, here's a woman who's a college professor,
right,
who's now coming to Rutgers University. I mean, what do you think she's telling her students?
It's going to. If you thought Busboys and Poets was bad, it's going to be even worse at the university. And indeed, at Rutgers, she's joining this other professor, trying to remember her name, from an Indian descent, Pool Beer, I think is their name, who's actually in the past argued that Israelis engage in organ harvesting of Palestinians, so a new blood libel against Jews. So she'll fit right in at Rutgers, I guess.
Sure, let's spend $20,000 a year to send our kids there, right? She also bragged about being among the founders of an anti-Semitic Students for Justice in Palestine. Andrew, if I was, let's say, the founder of anti-Arab Students for Justice for Israel, how would I be condemned? And why isn't she being condemned?
Well, I guess this is sort of the bias, again, that a person like Nora Ericott can take a leading role in founding Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, which now across campuses in America is a big backer of all these Israel Apartheid Weeks and has been known for having all sorts of extremist members and speakers, anti-Semitic, pro-jihad, and has been involved with a harassment of Jewish students on campus. But of course, if you were to ever alternatively criticize, say, Islam or jihadist Arab threats against Israel, you face all sorts of condemnation for being Islamophobic or so forth, and yet such things like Students for Justice from Palestine seem to just get kind of swept under a media rug. There's not much attention paid there.
Right. And she also talked about Ifyin Omar. Whitewash her anti-Semitism with an appeal to radical and religious victimhood.
Yeah, that's a line that many people in the Democratic Party and elsewhere are putting out now, that the criticisms of Ilhan Omar are merely because she's black, she's a Somali American, she wears a hijab, she's Muslim, so you're just bigoted. So playing all these race, religion cards about it's just prejudice against her, and there's no valid criticism of her anti-Semitism, and talking about American policy being ruled by Jewish money, or Israel's evil influence throughout the world, hypnotizing the world. So it's really absurd.
Well, and you and Sharron talked about this. How do you say this in your article? The whitewashing so Jews could become white. She repeated her thesis that Arabs could help indigenize Israeli Jews into the Middle East and rehabilitate that relationship. You talked about that, but how do you think that this would actually work, Andrew? I mean, you think they'd be treated fairly? And again, if I tried to homogenize or rehabilitate people from other parts of the world who are coming into this country, I think I'd be hung. Andrew, don't you?
Well, the key theme that she always takes up is this idea that of the Mizrahi Jews, the Jews who come from the diaspora in the Middle East and North Africa, majority Muslim countries, that they should be a return to their, as she sees it, Arab roots. She always refers to them as Arab Jews, and says that ideas that they're calling them Mizrahi Jews is wrong. And so, which is an identity that Mizrahi Jews in Israel themselves reject. They actually have very bitter memories of living in Muslim majority countries, and so they're not pleased at all about any idea that they would live in a Muslim majority unitary Palestinian state with a Muslim Arab majority. And in their voting patterns, the Mizrahi Jews in Israel are precisely much more conservative. They're precisely known for taking very hard lines on Israeli security positions, precisely because of their history of living in the Middle East.
Again, Andrew and Sharron, I'm very, very disturbed by the fact that, number one, she's given a forum. Number two, she puts out this book. Number three, and probably, as I mentioned, more frightening to me, is that she's a college professor, that she's going to go to Rutgers University now. Andrew, how and why do these people get any kind of credibility?
Well, this is the corruption of modern.
Part.
Yeah, this is the corruption of modern academia, modern Middle East studies, and indeed, this is your tax dollars at work at universities like Rutgers in New Jersey or University of California. So I think it's time for people like you out in the heartland to pay more attention, to really scrutinize academia with organizations like Campus Watch at the Middle East Forum, and really critique just what all these ivory tower academics are saying.
You know, for people who live in New Jersey, Andrew, who are thinking about sending their sons and daughters to a Rutgers University, I would have some real concerns. What could they do? Could they approach the dean of the college or the dean of Rutgers University and say, why and how, for what reason are you hiring somebody like this? Somebody who's obviously racist, in as much as she hates Jews. She thinks that Jews should be eradicated. And when you try to homogenize them into society with the rest of the middle, you're trying to eradicate them. That's much like what Adolf Hitler tried to do. I mean, I find this disturbing, Andrew. Am I going too far with my righteous indignation?
Well, the fate for Jews is any realistic assessment of her proposals would mean that Jews would probably wind up in a situation worse than Lebanon and say its Christian population. It would just any attempt to try to have a single Muslim majority, Arab majority Palestinian state with Jews as a minority in it. It would just turn into chaos and fighting and would really wreck any stability, any security that Jews would have in that society. They would end up fleeing again or being massacred. So precisely for such troubling implications, Jews think this is idiotic. I mean, anyone who realistically praises the Middle East thinks this is nuts. So I think at a place like Rutgers University, well, one, you should probably tell your kids if they're going there, don't take her classes. I mean, boycott her classes, just stay away, because you're just going to get pumped full of a lot of propaganda. I mean, anyone who's going to want to attend this class is probably going to be an ideologue from the outset. So it's just going to be preaching to the converted and to the choir. So you're probably better off spending your tuition dollars on some other professor in some other course.
You're right. Andrew Harrod, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. Andrew, please tell our audience how they could follow your work and read your writings.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter or on Facebook. My name is Andrew Harrod, like the department store in London, Harrod. Also at the Middle East Forum, there's much of my work. I'm also a contributor to Robert Spencer's Jihad Watch, so you can see a lot of articles there. I'm around at the Daily Caller, Breitbart, American Spectator, Allgemeiner, American Thinker, many other outlets, but those are key places you can find me.
Again, Andrew Harrod, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
Always great to be here. Thank you very much.
This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. She's Sharron Engel. Yes, that's Sharron Engel. Don't go away. Sharron and I will be back with more right after this break.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. I want to give a shout out to the folks who listen to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, in the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, now in Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Also, the folks who are watching us on the AUN television network in places like San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, and in Northern California. And with that, Sharron, we do have our next guest with us. Please make her feel welcome.
Well, it's a real honor and a privilege to introduce Tracy Beans, who is an investigative journalist who places a strong focus on politics. While writing for Undercover DC, she has brought the intricate details of several major stories to light, including corruption between Attorney General Loretta Lynch and Andrew McCabe, who threatened the New York office of the FBI during the Clinton email investigation. Tracy was one of the first journalists to conduct an hour-long face-to-face interview with George and Simona Papadopoulos the day after his release from prison, and she's also known for her unbiased, in-depth coverage of the spying scandal surrounding the candidacy of President Donald Trump. Tracy, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're excited to talk to you. You seem to be able to get stories that other people miss or aren't able to get. And, of course, the top story these days is Jeffrey Epstein. So talk to us a little bit about your investigative journalism into the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Sure. Well, Jeffrey Epstein, has been a topic amongst many people for decades now. He's connected to a ton of high-profile, very well-connected political figures, entertainment figures, etc. And so the news of his arrest sort of shook the establishment, so to speak. And a lot of people just dug right in and started looking back into the past. And a lot of focus was put on his arrest in Palm Beach back years ago when former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta was the United States Attorney down there. And so we started looking into that plea deal really in earnest when the Miami Herald began reporting on it in their series. And they really did a fantastic job uncovering the corruption down in Palm Beach. And the charges just brought in the District of New York and the Southern District are kind of echoing that same vein and including some of the same crimes that he had committed down there.
Well, this is very interesting because now there's a black book. And he's naming names in this book, or at least this black book has come to the attention of the media. What do you know about the black book and the names that are in that book?
What's interesting about the black book is that one of the employees of Jeffrey Epstein several years ago attempted to sell that book. And he later passed on. He passed away. And there's been, releases of that in excerpts over the years of who's in there and what names are in there. It's a virtual who's who, really, of folks that, you know the names of most of them. And so there's not only the black book, but there's also been reporting to the effect that Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys are moving forward sort of their version of a deal, in that they're asking Jeffrey Epstein they're asking the U.S. attorneys if they will accept a lesser jail time in turn for kind of singing like a canary and bringing forth names of other people involved.
Now, some former presidents and a present president seem to be in that book. Talk to us a little bit about presidential involvement and really what does this book mean? I mean, if your name's listed in the book, what does it mean?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. When you're a wealthy person dealing with all those folks and you get a bunch of connections and things like that, it doesn't automatically mean just because your name's in a book or on a flight log that you're guilty of a crime. And I think it's important for everybody to keep that front and center. You can look at the frequency in which some people traveled on the plane. For instance, Bill Clinton traveled on Epstein's plane 26 times. And one of the misreported facts in the case is that he went down to Epstein Island. And in fact, the logs don't necessarily show that he took a trip to Epstein Island, just that he took trips overseas, etc. However, the manifests do show that there were young girls on the plane when Bill Clinton was on the plane. In terms of the Trump connection, which the mainstream media is attempting to really exemplify, NBC News came out with a story this morning that they were at a party together at Mar-a-Lago, partying with a bunch of women. However, Donald Trump, as per one of the attorneys for the victims down in Florida, was one of the only people that was called that didn't require a subpoena for him to come forward, spend a bunch of time, and basically explain what he knew. And there was a story that has since been sort of confirmed that Trump was responsible for kicking Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago membership after he apparently and allegedly performed some sort of lewd act with a youngster or attempted to. So there's a lot being misreported and underreported out there for sure.
Well, since this story resurfaced, we were wondering if it really did have to do with a push against Trump, just anything to make him look guilty of something. Do you think there's an underlying political agenda here?
You know, as soon as everybody heard the Southern District of New York, that's where everyone's minds went, because we've seen a lot of other lawsuits and investigations coming out of that district in Manhattan. As a matter of fact, they just ended one today with no charges into the Trump organization for the Michael Cohen campaign finance violations. But the U.S. attorney in charge of the case is actually a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney who is a Republican. And we shouldn't really have to talk about somebody's politics in terms of law and order. It really bothers me when that's a necessity, but it is nowadays. I've not seen a political motive behind this from the investigators, and I'll wait before I pass judgment in that way.
So really the motivation is from the media then. Would you say that's a fair assessment, that they're covering this story precisely because Trump may be involved?
I think they're covering the story because it's major news, but as the media does nowadays, are trying to put a Trump spin on it. And what we found over and over again is that every time there's some sort of attempt to tie Trump to a crime, it just falls flat. The man does not, he's a law and order guy. He's not a criminal. However, propaganda is important. And so shaping the narrative is something the mainstream media tries to do lots of times now to no avail. And that's what they've been doing with this case. But I think as the facts roll out and the details of the case are more explored, we're going to learn likely the opposite. Jeffrey Epstein was a major donor to Democrat candidates and Democrat institutions, maybe 4-1 over Republican institutions and, candidates. Actually, as early as 2018, Epstein was donating to Democrats. So, I mean, you can look at the facts or you can look at the spin, whatever makes you feel better at night, I guess.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of those facts. You said he's already been donating to Democrats. 2018 is just last year. So talk about who he's donated to.
I was going to name her, and I'm just going to be honest, I can't remember. It's one of the squad. I can't remember. It's one of the squad. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Name the four of them. It's Omar, AOC. Who is the other one?
Tlaib.
Not Tlaib. There's one more.
Yeah, she's the one I don't know either.
I can't remember her name. She's in there.
I think that it's interesting that you just call them the squad. I think that's appropriate because they do seem to be a squadron of really interesting women, to say the least. So they're not going to be tied up in this just because they've taken money. I would think that would be them more damning, if you will, than being in the black book, that if you've taken money from Epstein.
Well, there's a lot of people that have done a lot of things with Jeffrey Epstein after he he signed the plea deal and admitted guilt the last time. And so, there needs to be more of a magnifying glass on that. Chuck Schumer has accepted several $1,000s from him. The Democratic National Committee has accepted thousands of dollars from him. Look at Open Secrets and you'll see it. So, it's one thing to point to somebody who cut off all contact once they learned of the type of person someone is. And it's another thing to continue to maintain contact with someone even after. It's almost the same thing as we see with Weinstein. People knew what was going on with Weinstein for years and maintained contact with him and hubbed him parties, and the Clintons were with him all the time. There was no doubt that this was known. We know that because of all the people that came forward once it was, quote, safe to do so. And that's one of the things that's really bothered me about this on a personal level, is that there have been reporters that have come out and said, I wrote a story about Jeffrey Epstein and they took out some of the victims that had come forward to me. If only I would have been able to get those in the story then, maybe we could have stopped this. But there's no talk of going to the FBI. There's no talk of going to the police. it just kind of went away and everybody ignored it. And it was just an open secret, so to speak. Same thing with some of the folks that came out and made tweets immediately after his arrest saying, we're going to be, we might see some of our faves wrapped up in this, guys. If you know this, if you know that Jeffrey Epstein is doing things like this with young girls, and you just let it go, what does that say about, the halls of power in this country? It's disgusting.
Well, if you ignore those kinds of things and you're a school teacher or in law enforcement or in counseling, you're held liable for not coming forward and reporting it as a crime. So you're exactly right. We've been talking with Tracy Beans, who is with Uncover DC, and we've been talking about the Jeffrey Epstein case. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. Rick, my co-host, that's him, and I, Sharron Angle, will be right back with our guest, Tracy Beans.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
And thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host today is Sharron Angle. And for rebroadcast, please check out our website, CCRShow.com. That's CCRShow.com. You'll find our radio show there, our TV show there, a lot of terrific articles, and a lot of great information. Our guest this segment is Tracy Bean. She's an investigative journalist. That's the lost art, I do believe. And she places a strong focus on politics while writing for Uncover DC. Tracy, thank you for holding through that break. We really do appreciate your time.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
Tracy, one of the things that I found interesting is, you talk about the politics of this story and how Democrats, they're poo-pooing this thing. It's not being covered in a lot of the mainstream media. But Google has scrubbing photos of Epstein with Clinton. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about the Google connection.
It's just another example of big tech being way too politically aligned and having way too much power and influence over the sorts of information that Americans are consuming or can see. And so, after the story broke, people were obviously doing a lot of searches because the Clinton-Epstein connection is not a new thing. It's been talked about for years. And now that he's arrested again, there's been a scrub. So if you go to Google and you type in Bill Clinton and Jeffrey, It won't autocomplete. Or if you type in Bill Clinton end, you'll get no suggestion. Similarly, if you try to search for a photo of the two of them together, of which there are plenty available or were, you won't get any results. Or what we found popping up, as a matter of fact, in real time, on another interview I was doing the other day, a photo of Trump and Epstein popped up while somebody was searching for Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. They're trying to control the information that Americans see to continue to try to control the narrative. And hopefully, or on their part, they hope it'll equate into a votes. It's not working anymore. It's just not. The internet's forever. There are archive sites available. People have taken print screens of things. It's just, they can try as much as they can to control that and to stifle the flow of truth, but it always bubbles to the top. It always happens. Project Veritas has been doing some great work from, some leaks they've been getting out of Google, and it's something that we need to pay more attention to. It needs to be taken more seriously. Otherwise, they can just erase history, and what are we going to do about it? I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. Tracy, could you talk about these charges against Jeffrey Epstein, whoever you say tomato, I say tomato, but these charges and the charges that he was convicted on in the past, are they different? Are they the same? How do they compare?
They are different, and that's one of the things that really bothered people, is that the Palm Beach case that he pled guilty to was just prostitution, and up here, it was they called it prostitution, but he did have to register as a sex offender. Here, we've got human trafficking and acts with a minor, so it's much different. It's much more serious. His attorneys are trying to make the case that this is like a double jeopardy, or they're trying to charge him with the same crime again. And the U.S. attorneys here in New York are doing their best to kind of differentiate between the two, saying there's been a lot of detail coming out in these bail hearings. They found a sack of diamonds in his safe with a passport with his photo, a different name. Yeah, it's just like a Tom Clancy novel. The interesting thing about that little tidbit is that it's been uncovered through some intrepid researchers that Jeffrey Epstein was actually a source in the Mueller FBI. They were using him as a confidential informant.
Jeffrey Epstein was.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And watching your video that was on Uncovered DC, you talked about how he was treated, how Jeffrey was treated as a prisoner. Could you talk about that? I found that fascinating.
Absolutely. Acosta has even said he expected for Epstein to remain in jail throughout his tenure. But for some reason, the police department there gave him a work release. It allowed him to leave jail every day for 13 hours, go to an office, stay there all day with a private security force. In the beginning, they were calling him inmate. And by the end, they were calling him a client. That's legit. It sounds like it should be fun. I mean, it's just the truth. It's really, really crazy. And some of the people down there said he had the entire police force under his thumb. So it was not a jail sentence. It was a vacation, basically, where he went to sleep in a horrible cell, but the rest of the day was business as usual. We can hope he doesn't get bail. The R. Kelly case coming out of Chicago, the judge just denied R. Kelly bail and bond on similar charges, right?
Right.
I don't think that bodes very well for Jeffrey Epstein in New York to obtain the conditions he wants for release, which are the victims were there at the last hearing. The decision's coming tomorrow. The victims were there saying, please.
That was another area that I wanted to go with you that I haven't heard a lot about. Could you talk about Jeffrey's victims?
There are now there were over 100 down in Palm Beach. It's disturbing. And up here, we've got the U.S. attorney saying there are people coming forward every day, and this case is expanding wider than they could even imagine. One of the complaints about Palm Beach was that they stopped talking to victims after 100 at the behest of the AG in Florida. And that's one of the reasons the FBI got involved at all, because the police and the detective that were doing the investigation were like, wait a second, something's not right here. They were actually leaking information to the defense team from inside of their investigation. This is something that I don't think a lot of people realize how corrupt it was down there, the intimidation that was going on. And some of the victims up here say, we're really scared if you let him out, what's going to happen to us? Because they're in their 30s now, but they were victims back then. And, you never get over that. There's danger here. There's been intimidation. There's been running people off the road. There's been threats.
Well, Trace, I wanted to talk with you about something. I have a habit of sometimes thinking too far outside the box, or I've been accused on that. The little black book that you mentioned, that the guy who tried to sell the little black book passed on.
Yeah.
I mean, that means like he's died. All right. And whenever we talk about anybody who passed on or died that had any kind of a connection to the Clintons, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and things. Was this person, did he pass on or die? Let's call it what it is. He died. Were there any unusual circumstances involved in that?
I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not positive, but I will tell you another interesting fact if we want to go down that lane a little bit. A few months after the Miami Herald's piece came out, the detective on the case, who was 50 years old, suddenly got ill and died as well.
I'm telling you, it's a real hazard to be anywhere near the Clintons. Tracy Beans, let's talk about Alex Acosta. He has resigned now, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Is he implicated in or with Jeffrey in any other way other than he prosecuted the case in Florida? And anything else you could tell us about his connection to all of this?
So there's no connection between Acosta and Epstein. There was a lot of murmuring and rumors that there was a lot of pressure from upper levels in the Justice Department on this case and what he was to do and what he wasn't to do. And in his press conference he gave right before he resigned, he said that, I'm not going to be able to answer these questions because, I can't talk about prior investigations, etc. But I will say it disturbs me in a way because while it was a horrible deal and it really should have been a trial and he should have been convicted and it should have been different. Mm-hmm. In his confirmation hearings, they talked about this case and what happened and they confirmed him. So to come back now after the fact when he's arrested in a different state or on a federal charges and say, because this was a state case in Palm Beach. This plea deal came from the state, not federally, okay? He was just involved in engineering it. So to come back and force this man to resign for something you knew already and let him, confirmed him over when he's doing a good job in terms of being the labor secretary, it reeks of this hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm. Tracy Beans, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. Please tell our audience how they could follow your work and read what you write.
Thanks so much, guys. You guys can find me at uncoverdc.com or on Twitter at Tracy Beans with a Z.
All right, Tracy, I'll follow you. You follow me, and hopefully you'll come back on our show. It's great to connect with you.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
And this is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel. Yes, that's Sharron Engel. And yours truly, Rick Trader.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. For rebroadcasts of our shows, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. You'll find our radio show there, our TV show there, a lot of terrific articles and a lot of great information. And with that, Sharron, our next guest is with us. The honor of the introduction, once again, is all yours.
Well, it is an honor and a privilege for me to introduce Bob Barr, who represented Georgia's 7th District in the House of Representatives from 1995 to 2003. He now practices law in Atlanta, Georgia, and is chairman of Liberty Guard, a nonprofit pro-liberty organization. He also heads the Law Enforcement Education Foundation and a consulting firm, Liberty Strategies. Congressman Barr, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
It's great to be with you all again. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. And you've written an article, Professional Whiners have a new hero du jour in Megan Rapinoe. First, let's go into who Megan Rapinoe is and what she's whining about these days, Congressman.
Well, she's apparently a very good soccer player, and I certainly don't take that away from her. She and her colleagues on the women's soccer team that just won the World Cup are tremendous athletes. But what I like to see athletes do is play athletics and do it in a professional manner. What I don't like to see, and this goes back, I suppose, a generation to the first person that I remember who really became a professional whiner in the sports arena was John McEnroe, a tennis player. And he sort of made it his trademark to whine and shout and use profanity and so forth. But Megan Rapinoe has used her forum as a professional soccer player on behalf of the United States soccer team to use profanity, to display political animus, to use that forum for all manner of criticizing the United States. And the dumbest thing that she has done, I suppose there are others, but the dumbest thing that I've seen her do is to refuse an invitation in advance to visit with the President of the United States. I mean, it seems to me that it's an honor to visit with the president, but even if one doesn't consider it an honor, at least take the opportunity to make your viewpoint known to the president, not to use profanity and discount that possibility. So she's more interested simply in the not so much even the message as the delivery of the message, to whine, use profanity, and make herself the center of attention rather than what she actually does with her teammates.
Well, I thought it was a huge assumption and presumption that she would even be invited to the White House. So, to make that declaration in advance kind of is a huge leap, I guess, because he's been denying sports teams an invitation here lately. He's kind of given up on the left in many ways, and she is definitely a leftist. I was reading another article that said that her big thing is now that women soccer players don't get paid as much as men, and she says that the equal pay solution is to ask big corporations just to write a check. That just seems like the left solution to everything. Get the corporations to pay. What do you think about that idea that women soccer players don't get equal opportunity or equal rights?
Well, one of the hypocrisies in what you just recounted is the fact that a lot of these leftists, they hate corporations. They constantly criticize capitalists and greedy corporations, but they sure do want their money. So that's part of the hypocrisy here. The manner in which they go after corporations really makes no sense whatsoever, because they don't want the market to dictate how much money they make. Men's soccer, they don't make, I guess, nearly as much as professional football players in our country or professional basketball or baseball players. All of them, I think, were overpaid, but that's irrelevant. If the market bears their salaries, then fine. It's my understanding, though, with regard to women's soccer, that was the result of a contract between the soccer association and the women's soccer team. So it seems to me that Megan's real beef is with the people that represent her, because they didn't strike a good enough deal, not with corporations or not with America generally.
Well, it's just, as you say, so typically left. And it's interesting, you go on in your article to name a few more of these typically left. I am so embarrassed to say that Colin Kaepernick was a Nevadan before he went on his tirade, I guess, against America. And you say that they could take a leaf from Kim Kardashian's book, which I thought that was an interesting thing, that you would come to Kim Kardashian and say, yep, she's got this one right. Talk about that.
Well, many of the Kardashian women are apparently very good business people. I've never watched their show. It just doesn't appeal to me, but apparently they're very good business people. And Kim Kardashian, she apparently knows a lot more about how to get things done for those things in which she believes than Megan Rapinoe does. Kim Kardashian has made a point over the last several years of working for criminal justice reform. She has been pressing that issue consistently with political people, and actually got an audience with the President of the United States, which had an impact. The President, despite what many of his critics think, actually does listen to people when they present viewpoints, even those with which he may disagree, and he may wind up agreeing with them. That's the stupidity of what people like Megan Rapinoe are doing. They're passing up opportunities to actually accomplish what it is that they say they want.
Well, and I think that's a fitting line in your article. It says, in the end, she and others like her really don't care. To them, the goal is the delivery of the message, not the results. So they just want to hear their heads rattle. Is that what you're saying?
They love the stage. Whether it's getting a ticker tape parade by de Blasio in New York, or on some sports thing I saw, where she went on, Megan did, and talked about how unfair it is in soccer and so forth, which is sort of ironic that here she is getting this tremendous forum to do things, and all she can do is whine.
Why? Well, and what bigger forum is there than to be invited to the White House? Doesn't every news carrier in the nation cover the White House?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a tremendous forum if, in fact, she really cared about accomplishing something. But again, I don't think they really care. They care about themselves and just getting into the limelight, it seems.
Well, and she gave up a huge opportunity to be in the limelight, I would think, by saying in advance that she wouldn't accept a non-existent invitation. I've never heard that Trump was even considering inviting her. Did you?
No, the first I heard about it was her refusing the non-existent invite. But I expect that if she and her teammates had presented themselves professionally and respectfully and requested a meeting, they might very well have gotten it, and it would have been a tremendous opportunity for her to make her case and having a few minutes with the President of the United States, perhaps.
Well, I was interested in your bio when I read it. You said it says that you're the chairman of Liberty Guard, a non-profit pro-liberty organization. Now, Liberty Guard, it would seem, would take up the mantle for a person like Megan Rapinoe if she were really being treated unfairly, wouldn't it?
We at Liberty Guard, what we stand up for, as you indicated, is liberty. We've taken on the federal government. We've taken on Hillary Clinton. We've taken on a number of individuals and entities who try and constrain or take away liberty. And if Ms. Rapinoe presented a case to us that really substantively showed that her liberty was being infringed, we would be more than happy to consider helping her.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And since you wrote this article, I can see that that's not the case. You don't think she has a leg to stand on here in her pursuit of what she is terming equality. We have to go to a short break now. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn America, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And we can also be seen on the AUN TV network in Northern California. We'll be right back with our guest, Congressman Bob Barr, talking about Megan Rapinoe and the soccer team and their demands, I suppose, with our co-host Rick Trader, and I'm Sharron Engel.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. Want to give a shout out to the folks who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Long Beach, California, and now in Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., as well as being seen on the AUN television network in places like San Francisco, San Rafael, Orange County, Marin County, and in places in California. Our guest this segment is Congressman Bob Barr. He served Georgia's 7th District in the House of Representatives, and he's written a great article, Professional Whiners Have a New Hero du Jour in Megan Rapinoe. Congressman, thank you for holding through that break. We appreciate your time.
More than happy to share it with you and your many, many viewers and listeners.
Congressman, I think you were a little unfair to the tennis player, John McEnroe. I mean, when he whined to a referee. He didn't whine to a country, nor did he disrespect the flag. But I can remember in 1968 when John Carlos and Tommy Smith, after winning gold medals at the Olympics, held up their fists in defiance, and for that, had their gold medals and had their Olympic medals removed from them. Boy, things have changed, haven't they, Congressman? From that time to the time where people like Megan Rapinoe are being lionized. Where's our country gone?
It's going in the wrong direction by all these accounts, certainly. I, too, remember I was in college at USC at the time of the 1968 Olympics, and I remember vividly those two disgraceful men holding their fists up in defiance of the U.S. national anthem and flag as it was played. It's one thing if an athlete is playing his or her own and they decide to use that forum for a political purpose, but it's entirely inappropriate to do so when they are being provided a forum by the United States of America, whether it's the Olympics or to represent our country in the soccer arena. But you're absolutely correct, Rick, that things have changed dramatically. At least back in 1968, these men were by and large shamed and their rewards were taken from them, the gold medals, although I suspect that there probably will be a move, if not already underway, to give them back. But nowadays, you're right. These people are made heroes when they step on the flag or when they use profanity to describe the President of the United States, or when they, a member of Congress, Tlaib, when I think it may have even been before she was sworn in to represent her district in the Congress, used the most disgraceful profanity in referring to the President of the United States. I never want to lose hope. I always want to be optimistic, but it's getting harder and harder to be optimistic that we will regain some sense of decency and patriotism throughout our country.
Well, Congressman, there seems to be this thing in this country. You get up on it like this Megan Rapinoe did when the soccer team came back to the United States, that she went to New York and a couple other places. She went up on stage and kept yelling, F this, F that. effing White House and whatever. People like that, people like Jason Kelsey from the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles, getting up on stage and dropping the F-bomb. There was a Philadelphia Phillies player who dropped the F-bomb during a World Series celebration. Congressman, again, I got to ask you this question. Why are these people such heroes now? Because they have foul mouths.
They're heroes not only because they have foul mouths, but because they personify the new left, which stands for the proposition that there are no standards. If you set standards to the new left, that means you are saying impliedly, if not explicitly, that some things are better than others. Certain words are better than others. Certain words are worse than others. Certain people are better than others. So in the new left world, there can be no standards for anything because that implies classicism, which is verboten to the new left.
Congressman Bob Barr, I can remember many, many years ago, there was a baseball game and a spectator ran out onto the field and tried to burn an American flag. A baseball player come and rescued that flag from that terrible act. That player became a hero. No one knows what became of the player who intended to burn the flag. But here, after winning the soccer championship, Megan Rapinoe didn't carry the flag on her back like a lot of our athletes did. Instead, she stepped on it. Do you think that she should be punished for her act instead of rewarded and lionized for it?
She certainly should be. I don't think she should be punished criminally for it, but certainly she should be punished in terms of not being rewarded for that kind of behavior. I think that having the mayor of New York, who's kind of a strange person to begin with, but having the mayor of New York lionize her, as you say, and say these wonderful things about her, and having Chuck Schumer say these wonderful things about her, really is in itself inappropriate. For public officials, again, who represent the United States of America or who represent the people of New York, which last I heard is part of the United States of America, to be glorifying people and acts that despicably denigrate the United States of America is something that all of us, and I'm glad you're bringing it up on your program here, and I hope your colleagues doing other programs, we need to be talking about these things. And we need to be doing what we can to ensure that our side is heard, America's side is heard, that we do believe in America and having standards of professionalism, of education, of public service, and yes, even of speech.
Congressman, you served in Congress during the term of Bill Clinton. Did you ever sit down or did you ever have a conversation with Bill Clinton, who is obviously on the other side of the aisle?
Talk about Bill Clinton. One thing that's interesting is how far the Democratic Party has swung to the left since Bill Clinton was president one generation ago. I remember listening, I think it may have been in a State of the Union address that he gave, talking about the need to protect our borders, the need to arrest illegal immigrants. He actually, I think, used the term illegal immigrants. And nowadays, the left, they can't even allow people to use those terms. They believe in completely open borders. I had a meeting early on in my congressional career with Bill Clinton, and I have to tell you that he is one of the most personable people I'd ever met. Very, very personable, very charismatic, but clearly had a couple of blind spots in his character.
Oh, what I was getting at, Congressman, this give you an opportunity to express your views and opinions to the president. As much as I disagreed with one Barack Obama, I would love to have had a beer summit with him, where I could sit down with the man and discuss my thoughts, my fears, what I thought of the country, what I thought of the right and wrong track of the country goes. And for people like Megan Rapinoe or Kevin or Colin Kaepernick or any of these others to pass up that opportunity, they're crazy, Congressman. They're absolutely crazy. Am I thinking outside the box when I talk like that?
You're thinking within the parameters of traditional American culture and society. Part of what I think we also see with these new leftists and these new whiners is their perspective. Their perspective is very, very short. They don't seem to have any concern or understanding of the long term. It's simply, well, what can I do today or between now and my next media appearance? If they actually thought through over the long term and thought, well, I want to, if I can use this forum to accomplish something else and then talk with somebody else and work my way up, I can really accomplish something. But in addition to now the left having utterly no standards for anything, their time frame has been completely compacted so that they only think in day to day, basically.
All right. Congressman Bob Barr, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. Please tell our audience how they could find out more about Liberty Guard and Liberty Strategies, and also to read your articles and follow what you're doing.
Thank you again. They can, anybody who would like to learn more about me and follow some of the work that I'm doing can go either to my website, bobbarr.org. They can go to the Law Enforcement Education Foundation, Law EEF. They can go to Liberty Guard's website, in which we post articles that I write and tell people some of the projects in which we're involved in behalf of liberty.
Congressman Bob Barr, again, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
Thank you all. Great being with you.
And this is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our next guest right after this break.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The secret war is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I am Rick Manning. George Landers has left the building, but if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, or for more information, please check out our websites, ccrsnetwork.com or ccrshow.com. Please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. You know, we spent a lot of time talking about some positive things today, but also some negative things in terms of the political craziness that seems to be going on with the squad and all that's happening in America. And you know, we face difficult times. We face real challenging times as a result of that. And so I wanted to have this guest on to talk about some things you can do, or at least one or two things you can do to at least stay somewhat safe, but also to be able to record what happens. We know that every single American should be able to participate in the political process without fear of being attacked, without fear of any kind of violence against them. We also know that the left has basically justified violence against Trump supporters, and they showed it during the 2016 campaign, and they continue to show it throughout the last 2.5 years. So I've invited Diana Enciso on, and she runs, as you can see above her head, spycite.com. And so you sit there and you say, why would you invite somebody on from spycite.com to talk about this kind of thing? And so Diana, why don't you tell me what you've actually got a really, really good idea, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So why don't you hit me with it?
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate being in your show and being able to reach out to your listeners and your viewers as well. Well, what we do here at SpySide is very simple. We enable people to be able to gather evidence of events, whether it be in this particular case, there is a lot of violence that is really hitting our country hard in various different places of the country. And we want to empower people to be able to be out there and express their political opinion and just go about their day without having to worry about the consequences of being outspoken about how they feel about the various different positions they're going to take. So what the tools that we have here are very simple, are things that can be easily worn throughout the day. So for example, I have a couple of examples to show you guys.
Okay.
For women, we have something like this. It's just a regular fit band, okay? Something that can go right on your wrist, and wherever you go, it's going to be always with you. Of course, men can also use it, but this over here can gather audio and video at any given point. And it's something that if a situation turns violent, or perhaps you have something great to show, you meet the president and you want to capture that whole thing, you can just press a couple buttons and start recording audio and video. Now, when it comes to actually gathering your evidence, that's very important, because if things do turn violent, sometimes it's just your word, and you have to also rely that somebody else might be able to tape whatever is going on. But that isn't always the case. And if you want to protect yourself, you want to make sure that you have as much evidence as possible. So we also have a few other things that could be kind of fun to wear and very practical to wear in these rallies. We have these sunglasses, which, as you can see, they look just like regular sunglasses. There's a camera right here. And just like the Fitband that I showed you before, this over here can also record audio and video. And they do it so simply that anybody can use them. In fact, we have people of all ages and all genders using them throughout the country for various different purposes, some for fun and some for more serious purposes that they have. You mentioned the hats before, so we have also this one, which would be ideal. I know it doesn't have your political support slogan here, but it'd be something really simple that somebody can put a pin, for example, or have it embroidered so that it actually has that message that they want to send out. And as you can see, my hands are free, so I can go about my day and enjoy my rally or do whatever it is that I need to do while having the ability to gather some evidence in case I need it.
So essentially what we're talking about are kind of common sense things that you might wear anyway. Wear a hat, some sunglasses, a Fitband kind of thing. And it's not like you're walking around with a camera or doing anything like that. And if a situation develops, and it could be virtually any kind of situation, we're talking about this in a political context, but if you get in a car accident, if you get into any kind of circumstance, if you happen to be if you're wearing this apparel, you have a capacity to kind of chronicle what happened. And life isn't always terrible. Obviously, most parts of life is boring, and there's joyous moments, there's non-joyous moments. But having this kind of capacity, sometimes you're fumbling around with your cell phone, you're trying to get it out, can't get the camera open, whatever, and it's a big pain in the neck. And before you get your camera open, the event is over. And this allows you the opportunity to just be prepared and be able to, if you're going to even a family event and you're wearing a hat with, you can sit there and just enjoy the event, not even think about it. And, when a special moment occurs, you then can trigger the camera easily, and the kids don't all look back up and get all self-conscious because you're recording. No, you're able to record just because they are, in fact, doing something cute without actually letting them know that you're recording them. So that's
true. And the video is a fantastic thing. And, being able to capture, like you say, with your grandkids, your kids, those moments where they're not self-aware that you're recording, you'd be surprised the kind of footage that you can get. And at spyside.com, we have so many different options. We have all kinds of different options that you could wear, things that you can put around the house if you don't want to actually wear something. And they have so many capabilities. People can come to our New York or our New Jersey showroom too and take a look and try them on and see what fits, which is a really great option for people that live near our stores to be able to actually physically go there and, try on a hat or put on the glasses and really get some training on how to do this. So when that special moment arrives, they're prepared for it and they don't miss it.
Yeah, and obviously when you're going to our focus, because we're more politically oriented, is going to any kind of event You're minding your own business. You're going to a political event of some sort. You're going to a concert of it doesn't matter what. And if you end up in a situation where their trouble does break out, you find yourself not isolated, but rather with a real capacity to be able to chronicle what occurred and make it so if you do have to engage with law enforcement, you have visual evidence and audio evidence of what happened. That's essentially what we're talking about, right?
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, but the ability to do it without others noticing sometimes could be a very powerful thing, because just like you said before, you could use your phone, and while it is kind of clunky to take it out and sometimes you miss the whole thing, having something that's hidden could be really, really vital when it's actually a bad situation that you're in. Somebody that is being aggressive and violent, they see you recording with the phone, the next thing they're going to do is they're going to take the phone and they're going to smash it and destroy your evidence. With something like this, if they're not aware that it's a camera, gives you a chance to at least be able to keep whatever happened out of the sight of the person that's actually the assailant, so that way you can keep your evidence.
Yeah, oftentimes what you see is you pull out a phone and the person actually gets more violent as a result of your attempt to chronicle. And this way you have a kind of a slyer way of being able to document what occurred, and while not escalating the situation by effectively threatening the person through the bringing out of cell phone. So it's now the cell phone is always good to use for that as an alternative. It also obviously contacting authorities and the like is valuable. But in terms of this, do you have any practical examples of this actually being used for this kind of purpose?
Sure. Like I mentioned before, the rallies, we have people that actually have used some of these technologies in other capacities, but very similar. We have people that use them on, for example, for business purposes. But when it comes to a public area, you could set them up before you walk out of your car. You put either you wear your watch or you wear your hat, or you could do a pin like this, for example, and you turn it on. You go about your day. If you were out at a rally, you would just turn it on, let it record audio and video the whole time. And if it's a long rally, you might need more than one particular device, but you'll be able to record the whole whereabouts of everything that's transpired. You won't have to worry about pressing buttons or anything like that. And then when it's all over, you can take a look and see what video you have actually gathered and make the best of it, tweet it out.
Very good. We're up against the break. We're going to come right back and talk more about this. It's a unique kind of way of being smart as we go about our business and what's become kind of a brave new world. But I'm Rick Manning with Conservative Commandos, and we're coming to you from all across the country, Conservative Commandos Radio Network. On stations in Florida, California, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Colorado, Wisconsin, Georgia, and the AUN network, which is in Northern California and in the Washington, D.C. area. And carried around the entire world on Al Gore's amazing internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, and AM/FM 24/7. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning. George Landreth is gone for the day, but I'm sure he's listening intently. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show or for more information, please check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com and ccrshow.com. Please like us, friend us, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. And folks, I just want to remind you, if you want to grab any of these segments, go to the ccrshow.com. it's and just grab the segment and you can send it to your friends and kind of share things with you. So if for instance, if talking here with Diana, who is talking about spysite.com and some practical tools to kind of be able to create an awareness, allow you to be able to visually document things that are happening around you without being obtrusive. And it's kind of a cool idea, and this age of really political attacks on people who are just trying to go to a rally, it makes sense to try to protect yourself a little bit by having an unobtrusive video device that actually will document what happens and doesn't escalate situations like bringing out a cell phone might. So, having said that, Diana, it's Diana and CISO, spysite.com. Obviously, if you are interested in the products, go to spysite.com. So I think that's why she's got that little sign up there. But Diana, tell us a little bit about how it works and kind of how much capacity the video cameras have and how one would get the video down, how they actually access it after the fact.
Sure. Okay, so we have a variety of different cameras that work a little bit different, but in general terms, they're all very easy to do. So I can show you, for example, with a watch, which is one of our most popular items for wearable cameras. These over here, and I'm just going to bring it a little closer, you can see. So as you can see, it's a regular watch. It actually tells the time, and then it has these two buttons, which normally on a regular watch would set your time and your minutes or your date. These, however, are actually going to set up our camera. So if you were out and about and you needed to start recording, you would just press and hold down this button and then press this button once, and you'd be ready to start recording audio and video on the go. When you had finished, you could either just let it run until the battery runs out and it would just save the file and stop, or if you wanted to just turn it off yourself, you just do the same buttons backwards. Press and hold down to turn it off. This way you can turn it on and off as the day goes on and as you need it to record specific things that are of interest to you. Now, when it comes to actually removing this video from here so that you can share it, you can save it, you can provide it to law enforcement if necessary, all you do is you access a secure compartment, which all of our cameras have a hidden compartment for it. It's the same compartment that you use to actually charge them. So in this case, it's this button over here. So we remove that watch button and it reveals the USB port for this particular camera. At this point, we would just connect our USB cable that came with the camera, connect it to our computer, double click to play any of the files. They're standard format, so you could email them, you could save them onto any other file, you could put them on YouTube, you could send them to whomever you want. They don't need any special software.
So it's not Wi-Fi enabled and saves you the hassle of worrying about, geez, my stuff ending up in the cloud or any of that stuff. It's all a self-contained unit and you download it to your computer. And if it turns out there's nothing, you record it, you had it on record and there's nothing to do, I assume you could just wipe it clean. Is that how it works?
Correct. Yeah, you would wipe it clean and reuse. For those that are interested in Wi-Fi options, there are Wi-Fi wearable cameras if that is something of interest. But most people, when they're going out and about, they are just going to use something like this because it's just a lot easier and simpler to use, and it gives you more flexibility, especially if you're concerned about your privacy. In terms of how long you can record for, an average wearable cameras will give you about 2 hours of battery life. If you're able to recharge in between, the memories will allow you to record a full day's worth of video. You just have to recharge in between, and then you can download at any point.
Got it. So it's really easy to use. Even I can figure it out. And all you're doing is plugging in the USB into your computer and downloading it. Obviously on your computer it pops up, says you've got a device connected. What do you want to do? And you push the appropriate buttons and it downloads it, and then you can send it to law enforcement. If you got some cute video of your grandkids, you can send them off to their parents and put them up on Facebook or whatever you want to do with it. So there's lots of different options in terms of how you use this after the fact. And it's I just think about how often the actual fumbling with the camera ends up killing the moment. And this is a great way, perhaps, to be able to get those really cool moments. It could be anything from your grandchildren to your cats, and it's get those really cool moments without having without the fumbling around, and actually you're trying to capture the moment, serving the purpose of not capturing the moment and breaking the moment. Let me ask you.
You want to be part of it.
Yeah, let me ask you a simple question. Does the watch work as a watch?
Yes.
Okay, so the watch works as a watch. Okay.
They actually work for whatever it is. So the Fitband actually works as a Fitband. The watch tells the time. Of course, the hat works as a hat.
Yeah.
But
that works as a hat, really? How about that? That's amazing. Amazing. A hat that works as a hat.
But yes, you won't be able, if somebody asks you the time, you'll be able to tell them what time it is, which is the whole purpose is to be totally undercover in how you're gathering your video.
Let me tell you, I'm going to tell people a story, okay? And we've all heard about people being confronted, but this is a personal story. And so I'm going to take your time, but it goes to what we were talking about. I was having lunch about a month ago, literally across the street from my office. And I came in, I was late, I was a guy's meeting, and I said, sorry, I was at the White House, and I was coming from the White House, and I just couldn't get out of there in time. And so I was about 20 minutes late to the lunch. And somebody in the restaurant heard me say this. I'm wearing a suit, I've come from the White House. I sit down, we're having a conversation about some other things. And all of a sudden this guy comes up, and I'm not a small guy. This guy comes up, he's got two kids. One's probably 7, the other's probably 10, 2 boys. And he's just foaming at the mouth, screaming at me. Now, I didn't talk to him at all. I had no conversation with this guy before. He just comes up and starts screaming at us about how, we should die because we support Trump. Okay? Literally that was happening in real life across the street at a restaurant that's a chain restaurant, no provocation. And so then I have to tell you, I did provoke him a little because he started going away as he's screaming, going away. I couldn't believe it. So I motioned for him to come back, and because I wanted to ask him, are you for real? Are you really for real, or is this an act? And then he went like totally off the charts and went crazy. And he's like spitting and just, he wasn't spitting like trying to spit in food. He was like just out of control, going wild. And his kids are desperately trying to get him to leave, and he won't leave because he's freaking out. And that was just because I happened to say with his earshot that I'd been at the White House. And as a result, he went nuts. So, folks, we're living in a weird world. And, if something had happened in that exchange, I wouldn't have had any evidence apart from the testimony of other people who might have been there, and who knows what their testimony would have showed or what they would have chosen to say. I would have had no evidence of the insanity that this guy, if I, and I had none. If I'd been wearing one of these devices, I've been wearing one of the watch or something, I could have clicked the watch on, recorded this guy, and if worse came, and if it just passed the way it did, and okay, so the guy was a jerk, and we kind of laughed at him, so we didn't help our cause because we were laughing at him for being a fool. But it would have been really helpful to have video evidence of that if something happened further to show exactly what precipitated it. And this kind of device would have been an exact kind of way of doing that in an unobtrusive way. So that's everyday life in my world here in Washington, D.C. And I don't know about your world, but people are getting crazy. And that's why I wanted to have Diana and CISO on to talk about SpySight and perhaps some things you can do to unobtrusively videotape the things that are happening around you. Diana, 15, 20 seconds. Anything else you want to add?
Hindsight is a terrible thing. It's best to be prepared and not need what you record. But if you can actually go ahead and gather some evidence, you'd be happy you did if you need it. So let us help you. We're here at Spycraft.com, New York and New Jersey. We'd be happy to show you around and give you the tools that you need.
And it's 845-371-0000.
Correct.
That's 845-371-0000 for those who are listening and not seeing the video. So spysight.com. Diana and CISO, thank you very much for joining us. I am Rick Manning. On behalf of George Landreth, I'd like to wish you all a great week and we will see you again, or you'll hear from us again a week from now. And remember, guys, freedom is important, but we also have to have a little fun in life. Let's just Keep fighting for freedom, but remember to do so with a smile on her face. Take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
But for right now, we are out of time. We got to run. We got to go. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow on TV and on radio.